last place team, and no surprise there in the division. It was the Cleveland Browns, man. Cleveland rocks, man. Cleveland came in at a record of 3-14, man. 191 passing yards a game, which is good for 17th in the league. 128.5 rushing yards in the, which is good for 10th in the league. Points for was 26 even, which was 10 points against, was 11.5, tied for third. Cleveland just keeps on Cleveland, man. They keep on doing their – they are always the talk of, like, the offseason and never for really good reasons, really. Gee, Mike, tell me what the hell's up with the Browns.
Man, there's so much turmoil with the Browns. You got a 40-something-year-old quarterback at the realm right now that he's been transferring from team to team to team like an unfaithful fan. You got the number one wide receiver on this squad, Jerry Jeudy, where he will be on any other team, sad to say, a wide receiver 3, even wide receiver 4. Like, I hope, he does work, because he has great route running skills. He is fast. He has sticky glue hands. He can be the best of the best, right? But he hasn't been given the opportunity with the other teams that he's had. He hasn't really had a true quarterback like that. Now you're giving him a 40-year-old quarterback that hopefully he could get him the ball to. But, their offensive line is average at best. Their defense, obviously, you got one of the best defensive linemen in Myles Garrett in the league. You got one of the best corners in the league with Denzel Ward. But you look at the whole other roster is mid, man. It's very mid. And like what Steve was saying earlier, the AFC North is a division that is really hard to win in, man. And every single win counts. So it's like, bro, it's tough to say that the Browns will do anything. Like, even the running game has gone down. Nick Chubb is not there. Yes, he's been injury prone, but you got Jerome Ford, and he does work sometimes, but he's inconsistent. We'll see what Judkins can do. I think he'll be a pretty excited running back. Hopefully, he can do some work.
Still. He hasn't signed yet, though. I mean, the expectation is he's probably going to sign, but there's probably some legal issues coming, even though the legal issues that he did have kind of been pushed under the rug a little bit. He might still be facing some legal actions with the league, so they don't really know that. So he technically hasn't even signed.
Yeah, but, man, Browns, I'm sorry to say it, Browns fans, but there's no excitement for you guys. There's no wild card playoffs looking like in your future for this season, and the best thing you can hope for, I would say, in this would be giving another shot to Shadir Sanders, and he turns out to be the next Michael Vick.
Yeah, they're in a very odd situation right now. Theoretically, what was it, 2 years ago, Joe Flacco actually played pretty well with the Browns. That's when Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, Cedric Tillman, all these guys actually started showing up. So I think that Joe Flacco can still do it because of what they're going to have to do of throwing the ball as much. Because I don't know about their running game. Jerome Ford's all right, but I do think that Flacco is going to be okay, but just okay. I don't expect him to be great or anything. So we were just talking about a little bit ago. You brought up Shedeur. So now cut down date for the NFL, I believe, is next Tuesday. Don't quote me on that one, but it's coming up at least next week. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it's next Tuesday. Having said that, you have to cut it down to 53-man roster. At that point in time, they have, I believe it's 4 quarterbacks on the roster, including Deshaun Watson, I believe. I don't know if they've still gotten rid of Hundley or not because they signed Hundley as well. You got Pickett, you got Flacco, you got Shedeur, you got Gabriel. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. And then they got 5. So they got, and Watson. What do? Do you keep all of them? Do you try and see? Because Pickett came back today and started practicing. So Pickett's missed all of preseason. And today was the first day he was actually able to practice. What do you do? Do you keep all of them? Do you put one of them on IR? What do you do as the GM? Mr. GM, you tell me.
If you like all your other skill players and linemen and you don't really want to get rid of a lot of them, because they are going to get rid of some, but you don't want to get rid of a lot of them, so you have to choose to get rid of a quarterback or 2. First off the list, it's got to be Kenny Pickett, because the other 2 are rookies. Joe Flacco's going to start, and then Deshaun Watson, you got him on a crazy amount of money. You don't want to let him go. You need to see him play out his damn contract.
He has 1 more year left and on the contract, and they can get out of it.
Yeah, and
So he
then
ain't going anywhere.
exactly, and then two, if you need to take out two, then I would say take out Joe Flacco and run it with the rookies, man. Run it with the rookies, throw them to the wolves, and see how they can play. Because at the end of the day, like how we mentioned, AFC North is deep, it's tough. You're not gonna win the division for sure. Yeah, I would put $1,000 on it. You guys do not win the division. For you guys to get into the wild card, I'll drop it down to $500 that you guys will not make it to a wild card round. So in that case, just try to make money. Honestly, try to look at it as a business. Push Shador at the round, baby. Put him in the first string. His jersey is going to sell. He's going to bring in money. People are going to want to see him play. Opposing teams are going to want to see him play. So, just go with that, man. But if you got to get rid of one, Kenny Pickett. If you got to get rid of two, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco.
That's an interesting take because I kind of feel like I agree with you on some of it. I think that that Kenny Pickett would be the one that you would most likely get rid of because you have the two rookies. And obviously it's the NFL. Everybody's always looking for backups. We mentioned a couple of quarterback needy teams, the Saints, forgive me, we just talked about it a couple minutes ago. The Saints is the one that keeps on coming up in my head. It's one that's definitely QB needy. So you might be able to work a deal maybe to get Kenny Pickett over there. Kenny Pickett's still pretty young. He showed flashes, just never really panned out with the Steelers. He was great in college, but never really panned out with the Steelers. I'm not so sure that you throw in Shador so fast. He did look great in the preseason game. He is already injured now, so you don't want to rush him back if you do honestly believe that he is the future of what is to come. I think that you kind of ease him in. Maybe if you're getting a blown out game, maybe throw him in there. But get him in, work him in. But Dylan Gabriel is also a pretty decent quarterback as well. UCF, and he played for Oregon as well. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. So it's going to be hard. And as the depth chart goes right now, I do believe that Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel is ahead of Shador Sanders in the pecking order. So I don't know. And you can also look at the aspect that if you're going to maybe get rid of one, maybe that's when you do pull the trigger on Shador and try and get something back. I would think you would probably get more compensation back for Shador, just like we were saying, the jersey sales, the name value, the namesake, the hype. You could probably, if you're going to cut it down there, keep Dylan Gabriel. You're going to keep Flacco because he's the adult in the room. And then you got Dylan Gabriel that you can build because that was their third-round pick, and they had the opportunity to take Shador Sanders. They didn't. They took Dylan Gabriel over him. And and then you could keep them three if you wanted to. Maybe work a package deal and get rid of Pickett and Shador. But I am excited to see Shador play, though. So I don't want it to make it come off as like I don't think Shador's going to be good because he did look very impressive. He looked a lot better than I thought he was going to look in that preseason game. But you do have a lot of quarterbacks on the roster at the moment. So I do kind of feel like that he would be more of your ace in the hole if you were to make a trade. You might be able to make a splashier move and get something back in return for Shador more than you would be Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett. But
I agree with that part. Sure.
It's definitely TBD at this point to find out what they are actually going to do. But it is the Bears, not the Bears. I'm sorry. It is the Browns. They'll find some way to, brown this thing up. So that's going to make it.
Cleveland.
Yeah,